Last year, a guy on the Hull Truth forums posted that his Garmin 743 Chartplotter had just been bricked by an ActiveCaptain update. It was stuck in a permanent boot loop on the helm of his center console, completely dead. The Volvo dealer quoted him $4,400 to replace it. Garmin's response was that his warranty had expired 5 months ago, and he should consider buying a newer GPS. But this wasn't a freak accident. I spent about 3 weeks digging through every boating forum, repair thread, and teardown post I could find on Garmin, Lowrance, and Humminbird fish finders. And what I found is a pattern so consistent, it stops looking like bad luck and starts looking like a business model. So let me walk you through exactly how the 3 biggest marine electronics companies are designing your fish finder to die. It starts with firmware updates pushed from Garmin headquarters in Olathe, Kansas, and from Navico's engineering offices that handle both Lowrance and Simrad. These updates are supposed to add features and fix bugs. But across every major product line, there's a documented history of updates that destroy perfectly working hardware. Lowrance HDS Gen 1 owners. Watch their unit slow to a crawl after repeated updates loaded features the original processor was never built to handle. One guy on BBC boards joked that he'd hit the zoom button, go make a sandwich, come back, and hit it again. That's not a software glitch. That's a unit being pushed past its hardware ceiling until the owner gives up and buys the next generation. And the pattern didn't stop with Gen 1. Lowrance pushed update 23.3 to the HDS Live, and owners paired with B15OM transducers suddenly lost sonar performance. The kicker? They couldn't roll back the update. Multiple owners on the Hull Truth confirmed that HDS Live and HDS Pro units simply do not allow firmware downgrades. You're stuck with whatever they push to you, broken or not. I personally think the Humminbird side of this is the one nobody talks about enough. A Helix 9G4N running firmware version 2.88 lost every single sonar function after the update. Side imaging, down imaging, regular 2D sonar, all blank. The transducer was still clicking, the hardware was fine, but the software killed it. The owner literally wrote, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it," was talking to me before I did it. I should have listened. That one actually made me a little angry. But here's where the repair situation inside Garmin's service centers and Humminbird's facility in Eufaula, Alabama, makes all of this even worse. Because once your unit is dead, you'd think you could just get it fixed, right? You cannot. And the reason you cannot is that these things are designed from the factory floor to be unreplaceable, not repairable. I looked everywhere for a professional iFixit teardown on any fish finder from any brand. There isn't one. Not a single marine electronics unit from Garmin, Lowrance, or Humminbird has ever been torn down on the world's largest repair database. And when you try to crack one open yourself, you find out why. One guy trying to open a Lowrance HDS discovered the case was glued shut on top of being screwed together. His exact words were that the unit looked like it had been a star in a horror movie by the time he got it apart. Humminbird's own support page says flat out that they do not sell internal components for fish finders or transducers. Garmin told a guy with a cracked EchoMap 93 SV screen that they do not replace screens because it's a proprietary part. And Lowrance, this one is wild. Lowrance refuses all repairs on any unit more than 5 years old. Doesn't matter if the model is still in production, 5 years and you're cut off. Now here's the part of this story that I've honestly been the most obsessed with researching, because it involves something happening inside a single factory in Ensenada, Mexico. A journalist from Yachting Magazine toured the Navico production facility and watched a pick-and-place machine stamp microchips onto printed circuit boards at a rate of 10,000 boards per day. Those boards were destined for 3 different brand names: Lowrance, Simrad, and B&G. Standing on the factory floor, the journalist wrote that he could not tell which brand any given board was being built for. Think about that for a second. One factory, one production line, same exact circuit boards. But a 12-inch Lowrance HDS Pro costs roughly 15,000 Canadian dollars for a 3-unit setup, while the equivalent Simrad NSS4 package runs about 25,000. That's a 40% premium for a different sticker on identical guts. The radar modules are the same. The autopilot hardware is the same. Even the sonar modules carry different part numbers but share the same internals. The only difference is software locks that enable different features on each brand. And then Garmin went and bought Navionics in 2017, which gave them control over the largest marine chart database on the planet. The Navionics app went from about $15 a year to $50. The free online chart viewer got shut down. And Garmin chose not to renew the licensing deal that let Furuno's Time Zero platform use Navionics data, effectively cutting off a competitor's customers. Meanwhile, Brunswick bought Navico for $1.05 billion, which means one company now owns Lowrance, Simrad, B and G, and the CMAP charting platform all at once. Two corporations now control almost every chart you can buy and most of the fish finder hardware on the market. If you've made it this far, do me a favor and hit subscribe. I cover this kind of marine industry stuff every week, and trust me, we're just getting started. Now the final piece of the trap, and this is the one that costs boaters the most money, happens when a firmware update doesn't just kill your fish finder, it kills your entire electronics network. Humminbird pushed firmware version 5.060 and severed networking between their latest Solix G3 units and every older Solix G1, G2, and Helix model on the one-boat network. If you had a mixed generation setup on your console, you either ran separate networks with separate switches or replaced every older unit. Lowrance did the same thing when the final HDS Gen 3 update broke Ethernet to all Gen 2 and legacy modules. One Lowrance customer realized he'd have to replace two 12-inch displays, an autopilot, a radar dome, and 3 transducers. His entire helm gone because of one software update on one unit. So is anything actually being done about this? Barely. No planned obsolescence lawsuit has ever succeeded against a marine electronics manufacturer. Garmin did face a class action over their lifetime maps promise on automotive GPS units, but that case was voluntarily dismissed. However, in January 2026, Delaware introduced what might be the first state-level right-to-repair bill specifically targeting marine equipment. The sponsors said boat owners are being forced into monopolized repair systems that inflate costs and eliminate choices. And over in the European Union, a new directive kicking in September 2026 will specifically prohibit products designed with artificially shortened lifespans, including through software. France already treats planned obsolescence as a criminal offense with up to 2 years in prison. Now, I don't want to leave you without an actual solution, because there is one, at least for half the problem. An open source program called OpenCPN has been in active development for over 15 years. It runs on a Raspberry Pi. A full Chartplotter setup with GPS touchscreen and even AIS reception through a $20 USB dongle costs between $250 and $400 total. The lead developer uses it as primary navigation on a 48-foot trawler cruising from Newfoundland to the Bahamas. Some guys on Trawler Forum are running it alongside a Simrad NSS-12 and saying they actually prefer the open source version for navigation. But I want to be honest with you, there is no open source alternative for fish finding. The sonar side of things uses proprietary transducers, custom signal processing chips, and algorithms that hobby hardware just cannot replicate right now. A $200 Garmin Striker will outperform any DIY sonar build on Earth. For chart plotting, you can escape. For finding fish, you're still locked in. And that, right there, is exactly what Garmin, Lowrance, and Humminbird are counting on. They know you need the sonar. They know you can't build your own, so they'll keep sealing the cases shut, keep pushing updates that break backward compatibility, keep charging you $50 a year for charts that used to cost $15, and keep discontinuing your model every 2 years until you buy the next one. The question is whether Delaware's right to repair bill or the EU crackdown or enough pissed off boaters on enough forums will finally change the math. Because right now the math says your fish finder was designed to die and the replacement was designed to die too.